It's time for To The Max Sports, where we talk about sports. They're just two guys, Max and Drew, in a bar talking all things sports. Well, without the bar. And the beer. Wait, why aren't we in the bar?
Hello, and welcome to The Max Sports. You all know what time it is. Time for To The Max Sports.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
That's right. Let's go have a margarita, baby.
It's also midnight somewhere.
That caustic voice you heard is Brother Bob, working the ones and twos. How are you, Bob?
I am doing okie dokie.
Coming to you live from the Flying Whipper Production Studios, just a cannon shot away from the world-famous Alamo in downtown San Antonio, Texas.
I think they have I actually think they do have a cannon on display. I know they're doing live musket stuff.
You know what's kind of interesting, Bob, is once a year they dredge out the Riverwalk.
Uh-huh.
And occasionally they'll still come across some old Civil War artifacts. I think they did find a cannon one time at the bottom of the river.
Yeah.
So, just an interesting factoid. Bob, let's just way right into it. I never thought we're probably doing our 110th, 115th episode.
Something like that.
By the way, if you enjoy us, I always say we try to tell you something you didn't know before the show started. If we semi-entertain you, please tell a friend, hit that like and subscribe button.
Add a review.
Add a review, add a question. We're on Spotify, Apple, all that good stuff.
If you don't like us, well, then we don't like you either.
One thing I thought we would never, ever do is start a show talking about the WNBA.
Okay.
And here we are.
Okay.
Figured we weigh into this Caitlin Clark. The latest incident was where an opposing player called her a bitch and then purposely ran about 5 feet as Caitlin was accepting an inbounds pass from a teammate and pushed her to the ground.
I don't know. Did she actually use the B word? Is that confirmed?
I watched the video. I'm not going to.
So you're a certified lip reader?
I'm not a certified lip reader, but I understand when someone says.
Gotten that a lot in your life?
Not a bitch. Mine usually starts with, see if you can read it.
Well, yeah, I've probably said that about you too.
So, but you're not a certifiable lip reader.
Yeah, I'm a certifiable jerk reader.
So anyway, what are your thoughts, Bob? And I'll kind of opine on mine.
I apparently am very long-winded on my opinion on this.
I actually want to do a fairly long segment on this.
Okay. For the history of professional sports, there's a tradition of picking on the rookie. Okay? And there is also a tradition of rookies having some adjustment time. Caitlin Clark, like every rookie, whether it's basketball, baseball, football, hockey, when they get to the professional leagues, they have to adjust to speed, strength, and size. She was playing college women, and maybe she was running up against, top players, one on a team as she was playing through the NCAAs. She is playing against teams of top players. So she has to adjust to size, strength, and speed. That's going to take some time. Specifically, the strength part. She's a guard. She's going up against bigger women, and she is getting a little manhandled. She needs to put some strength on her. So I think I think some of this is her just adjusting to it, and she will. I think some of this is picking on the rookie. I think there's a little bit of rookie hazing. I don't like to think about this as being reverse racism.
Do you think there's a racial component just because of the obvious fact she's a white woman playing in a predominantly black league?
I would like to think that we are behind that. And I know we probably aren't, but I think it's more than, and I don't think it's conscious, or maybe it isn't all that conscious, but the whole idea of jealousy or envy, the whole idea that she just signed a $29 million deal with Nike, and some of these women have been playing professional ball for, and WNBA salary is like $90,000 a year. So there's a little bit of a, you want your money? Well, I'm going to take my pound of flesh. I set the table for you to dine at, Caitlin. and you need to acknowledge my existence. And I think there's a little bit of that. I don't think it's coordinated.
Come in here and earn it. You know, it's not going to be given to you. You're going to earn it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is coordinated. I think this is just simply, you know, in the NFL, it's the veteran defensive lineman sacking the rookie quarterback for the first time, and as he's getting up from the ground, you go, "Welcome to the NFL, Rook." So, Caitlin has the third highest number of fouls called against her. So, we're all watching. That's the other thing, is there's a whole lot more eyeballs on this. And I do have one more thing to say that's only come up in the last couple of days. The cheap shot by Kennedy Carter, total cheap shot. Possibly she should have gotten a game suspension for that. Players in the NBA have gotten suspended at least one game for hits just like that.
Yeah, if that had been Draymond Green, would he have been suspended? Of course, he has a history, but
that had been Patrick Beverley, and he was suspended. But what I don't agree with at all is people harassing Kennedy Carter at the team hotel, harassing Kennedy Carter's team bus as they're getting off to go into the hotel, not allowing those women to get off their team bus. That is uncalled for. That's actually worse to me than the on-court conduct. That is uncalled for and totally out of bounds.
Yeah, if that's happening,
and it is.
I agree.
Yeah. So What's your thoughts as I've now gone on for, if I look at the clock, that was like 3 or 4 minutes.
I like to have these conversations. I'm glad we are. Couple things, because I've gone through, let's just say, a diversity of thought. I said, man, you know, it's this, it's that. But, okay, here's where I've come to the conclusion. One, obviously, there's going to be a racial undertone just because she's white. I mean, just like Larry Bird was playing Magic Johnson. He was black, Magic. So there is that. So I think because of the fact that she is white, and the fact that she's playing in a predominantly black league, there probably is a little bit more than just, there is your rookie, come and earn it, but then there's, you know what, you're the white rookie, now you really got to come and earn it. Mm-hmm. So, Bob, when I was in my 20s, even up to my early 30s, I loved pickup basketball. I'd go up to the Med Center, I'd drive around town, there's a place off Huebner. I knew where all the games were being played, the competitive basketball games. I'm competitive. I wanted to play in those pickup games. And I was many times the only, you know, white guy on the court. Okay. Just a fact, you know, and it wasn't, I noticed it, man, I'm the only white dude here. And, you know, I could hang on my own. You had to earn the respect with those guys, and you had to take maybe a little extra beating to see if you were going to, how are you going to handle that? Okay. You know, I knew I was getting hip checked a few extra times. Mm-hmm. I knew I was getting a hard foul. But if Caitlin maintains her composure, which she has, and she continues to play at a high level, a year from now, we won't be talking about this because she'll have earned the respect of the players. Okay. And I think a lot of it is just her getting out there, taking her shots and earning the respect of the players. And I think so far she has done that. Conversely, the players need to also say, you know what? Caitlin Clark is the reason people are talking about the WNBA. You know, she's the reason that the sport is getting elevated to the point that it is. And let me finish my point. Okay. If Caitlin Clark was not playing in the NBA right now, we would not be talking about the NBA. Okay. Because at the end of the day, who was the rookie of the year for the San Antonio, for last year's NBA rookie of the year?
Yeah, Victor.
Okay. Name me the last 10 rookie of the year in the last 10 years besides Victor Wembanyama. Quick.
Oh, I can't.
Quick. You can't. Why? Because Victor Wembanyama transcends. He's something special. Okay? He's just something special. That's why you can't name 10 other NBA rookies in the last 10 years.
I don't.
They got picked in the first pick. Caitlin Clark is a transcendental rookie. She transcends the sport right now. She's the only person that can say, you know what, I beat Pete Maravich's record. I've scored more points, man or woman, than anybody else in college basketball.
Okay.
So my point is, she's your golden goose. Be careful. Don't hurt her. Don't kill her. The only reason the WNBA exists and is functional is, quite frankly, is because the NBA subsidizes it. If it was standing alone on its own, it ain't making it. Well, and yeah, she did sign a big contract, but you know what happens? When you sign a big contract, she's elevating all you gals to a bigger contract down the road. So don't kill the golden goose, okay? You can be hard on her, you can make her earn it, but if you hurt her, it's game over, literally and figuratively.
I get that.
Am I wrong?
I get that, and the women's game has been slowly increasing. The interest in the women's game has slowly been increasing. Did Caitlin Clark accelerated? Absolutely. Is it all about Caitlin Clark? I actually don't think so. I think there's a lot of others. There's the
Bob, how many?
The tall girl from USC, Cameron Brink.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to put on your honest cap. How many WNBA games have you watched this year?
How
many?
I haven't watched any because
neither have I. If you were to watch a WNBA game, would the only one you'd probably be particularly interested in would be the one, not because she's white or black, would the only one you might be particularly interested in would be the Caitlin Clark game?
I will tell you this. The one thing I am not doing,
just being honest,
is when WNBA highlights are on SportsCenter, I'm not flipping the channel.
Well, of course. I got the attention span of a gerbil. I'll watch highlights.
But just because I don't watch the WNBA doesn't mean
everybody else is.
It doesn't mean that it's not increasing. I mean, how much Formula One do you watch?
None.
There you go. I watch a lot of Formula One. That's one of my sports that I like to watch.
But if they had I can't even say the word.
A generational.
Formula One driver, I may be like, and I think that there is that underdog race mentality there because, I mean, look, Tiger's a perfect example. Golf viewership the year before Tiger hit the circuit, you can Google it. It was abysmal.
Yeah, and
he transcended the game. He was a minority. He brought eyeballs to the screen. Remember Lynn Sanity, the Asian guy?
Yeah.
Yao Ming.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. You need something interesting to happen to get eyeballs.
Interesting and different.
And I was thinking Caitlin Clark was a trend, and women's basketball was a trend. I saw it retracting from where it was coming out of the college championships, the college basketball championships. But I saw it better than it was last year, and next year it'll be better than it was this year. I do see it increasing. I don't have a daughter, but if I had a daughter, I think I would be watching the WNBA or the College World Series. But
well, of course you would. That's a little different.
That's a little different.
That's because you got a vested interest in watching it.
Right. I mean, I only have a finite amount of hours to watch sports.
Speaking of getting eyeballs on screens, I guess you know the greatest thing about this coming weekend, Bob?
What?
There's only 15 more to opening day in the NFL, which is all we really care about, right?
Well, I personally think that the NBA just really loses all momentum when their teams have sweeps and gentlemen sweeps, and then we wait a week.
Yeah.
The NHL too. It's like been waiting 4 or 5 days for the NHL to get to the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, the NBA shouldn't be drug out until potentially the beginning of July, but it is what it is. I wonder I don't know if you can pull this up while I'm talking. What was the beginning of the year line on the Mavericks, I was thinking about on the way in, it had to have been 15 to 20 to 1
Oh, yeah.
to win the NBA championship. Not sure if you know what it is. I don't. Figure the Celtics are probably like 7 to 2 or something. But, the Mavericks are there.
Mm-hmm.
They're riding on the back of their superstar, Luka Doncic. Are you surprised the Mavs made it this far to the finals?
Yes. But I think I'm surprised as much as everyone else is.
And do you think they have a fighting man's chance against the Celtics?
Oh, absolutely.
Tell me why.
Because the Celtics for me are prone to laying an egg and shooting themselves in the foot. I trust Doncic, and as much as it hurts me to say this, I trust Luka and Kyrie more in pressure situations than the Boston top two.
Okay.
So, specifically Tatum. Tatum's kind of one of those.
Disappear.
What?
Tatum can disappear in games.
Yeah, and Tatum needs to prove that to all of us that he is a pressure player when the lights are the brightest, because he hasn't yet. Now, maybe he will. Maybe he'll outplay everything and outplay all of our reduced expectations. But if Dallas can go in these first two games and maybe steal a game in Boston and get back to home and get back to a place where I think the Dallas role players can play while they're at home. Now, Dallas played pretty good on the road, but Boston's a different place. Mm-hmm. So I'm personally, if I'm putting my money on it, I'm picking Boston in 6.
That's okay.
But if Dallas wins this in 6 or 7, I'm not going to be surprised. And if Dallas wins this in 7 and it's close, every one of these games, it's an extremely competitive series, I don't think the Boston Celtics season is a disappointment and a failure.
I would agree with, contrary to people always say, you always agree with Bob. I got to agree with you, and I'll make a couple points. One is I do think it's going to be, I think each game's going to be entertaining game. It's going to be a close game, relatively speaking. I do think if I had to put on my Karnak hat, I would say I'm going to take the Celtics also 4-2. But I think a lot of games will be decided in the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game. Yeah. Really, the key to the Celtics is going to be, at the end of the day, it's going to rest on Doncic's shoulders. And maybe the Celtics say, you know what, let Doncic have his points. Give him his 35, 40 points. Let's lock down on everybody else. That would be the strategy I would employ.
And hope that Kyrie doesn't play to his potential. I will say this about Kyrie. Before the season going into this, when Dallas first traded for him and got him in there, I'm very, very much anti-Kyrie. I will say this. All his off-court antics have quieted down, and he's pretty much it just seems like he's just focusing on the basketball, which I don't agree with the whole, don't foist your politics on me and don't have an opinion outside there. I don't agree with that. But for someone like Kyrie to focus back on basketball, he's been a teammate, he's played well, and I think either someone talked to him or he just got mature.
Yeah, I haven't heard any negativity from any of his teammates. And of course, his play speaks for itself.
Yeah, and if the game is going to go down to the last couple minutes, do you trust Luka and Kyrie or Jason and Jalen? Even though I think Jason and Jalen, just pure ability, are a better pair, I just trust Luka and Kyrie more.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a competitive series. I like I said, I think pretty much every game is going to come down to the last 3 or 4 minutes of the game. Which team makes that move, which really good lockdown teams do. So we're in agreement, Bob. We got the Celtics in 6, 4-2.
Okay, there we go.
But wouldn't be surprised if something else happens.
Neither would I.
What else is going on in the world of sports, Bob?
Let's see. We have the College World Champion, or the College World Series for softball. Texas lost last night to Oklahoma. Oh, really? Really? Actually, Texas, Oklahoma, the Red River rivalry.
I'm not going to sit and watch it at my house, but when I'm in the establishment having an adult beverage, and I told you this last year, I actually enjoy watching women's softball. It's pretty good. I actually enjoy that. You know, if we're going to have a moment of honesty, I could sit and watch a women's softball game from start to finish before I could watch a WNBA game.
In some ways, I think those corner players in women's softball put themselves at greater risk than the corner players in Major League Baseball. That ball, one, it's not soft.
Yeah.
And two, you're closer to home plate. And when that thing comes off the bat, it's coming off the bat fast.
Yeah.
So my hat's off to the women that are playing that. And Oklahoma showed the reason why they're 3-time defending and they're 1 game away from a four-peat.
Good for them.
So anyway, what else? Let's see. Yeah, baseball, Shohei. Oh, we did have a lifetime ban.
Yes, the first one since 1924 of an active player being banned.
What are your thoughts on this? Because this could be another long one.
And there are a couple other guys they just suspended for a year.
Minor leaguers.
Well, you know, I think that there's a bug crawling across the screen. We got
Cool.
a bug making a cameo appearance. He's not crawling on me, I promise. Why don't you brush him off, Bob? Can we do that?
No. All creatures great and small.
You don't have to kill him. Just brush him off.
Nope, now he's dead.
You killed him.
Okay.
Send your letters to Bob.
Hey, all creatures great and small except for the ones that are ugly and piss me off.
And the ones that are in my house.
There we go.
You lose squatting whites when you come to my house and try to live.
Fair enough.
What were we talking about?
Betting in baseball.
So, yeah, I think baseball's setting a pretty clear example that go ahead and do it and you'll never play in the sport again. I think that you almost have to go draconian, full draconian. Dude.
So you agree with it?
I think that if you want to attempt at all to nip this in the bud, you have to go full draconian.
Mm-hmm. I am totally with you. For all those, including one of the co-hosts of Pardon the Interruption, who's like, well, everyone else is allowed to do it. Why shouldn't the players be allowed to do it? And I think it's a total integrity of the game. It's also, for me, you have a Major League Baseball contract. Now, if you're playing in the majors, you're making a pretty penny to play a game that 15-year-olds play for fun. And I'm going to tell you, you can't bet on it. That's no different than the military telling its soldiers and sailors, hey, you can't go join a gang.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. I'm a baseball player, 6-7 years in, not a starter, but I'm in the major leagues. And I go to the commissioner and on my own say, I've got a gambling problem. I've been betting on some baseball games. Not my team, but I have been betting on games. What do you do with that guy?
If there's a couple layers to that. One, if he's legally betting, he's been flagged already. So he's never going to get an opportunity to fess up to something that wasn't known. The legal, that is one of the benefits of the legal books is if you're a player and you're betting on a legal book, you're going to be caught tomorrow.
Yeah, whether you disclose or not disclose.
Whether you disclose or not, you are going to get caught.
Well, but I was thinking about this. Couldn't you do, what Ohtani may have done? I'm not going to say he did, but
he did not.
Could you use
please continue.
Could you use a buddy?
You could, but all those legal sports books have highly trained mathematicians and statisticians and analysts that are watching the flow of betting and looking deeply into when it doesn't agree with what their predictions are.
So what you're saying, even if I self-disclose, just the fact that I was betting is going to give me a lifetime ban?
Well,
with the self-disclosure?
No. My point is if you're betting on a legal sports book, you're not going to get a chance to disclose. You're going to get outed before you ever walk into the commissioner's office.
Well,
now,
again, just a scenario. I'm using you as my go-between. And I'm like, you know what? I got to disclose this. I've had an epiphany. I don't want to lose my major league career. Let me go to the commissioner, tell him I've been using Bob as a go-between. I have been betting on sports, specifically baseball. What do you do with me? Inevitably, I could see something like that coming up. And how is that going to be treated?
What I'm going to do is if I'm Rob Manfred for a day, I am handing down a lifetime ban. Yes, the hammer's going to come down. You bet on baseball, here's the lifetime ban. However, you go off and get help, and we will help you, and I will give you an opportunity in 2 to 3 years to come back to me.
To petition back. And
to petition to come back in. And during that time, I'm going to use you. I'm going to use you to go into the clubhouses and talk to the other players. I'm going to put you on the Major League Baseball's payroll, not only to watch your ass, but to go educate the other players. I'm going to use you.
Okay. That might be a fair, teachable moment. Yeah.
The first one gets that. The second one, set of steak knives. The third one, you fired.
Yeah, I think you got to establish a precedent right away, lifetime ban. The best advice I can give anyone who's been lucky enough to play at the major league level of any sport, you got your whole entire life to gamble. You have about a 1 to 12 year window to play in the big leagues of any sport. So you're making a lot more money just playing your sport. And then if you got to do whatever comes after that, then just do it,
And I have a little more grace for the minor leaguers.
Now I'll listen to your point, but Major League Baseball also needs to provide, because addictions take form in many levels, be it alcohol, drugs, porn, gambling.
Well, not in Texas, but okay.
So what they need to do is baseball, do they have an outlet for people that feel like they have a propensity to maybe, can I make a phone call to someone and say, man, I'm fighting this urge not to bet on the A's today. Can somebody help me? Can I talk to somebody?
But,
and I understand that they can't be big brother to everything and every problem, but I think when it comes to something as serious as losing your career forever, maybe there should be an anonymous outlet there that, and I'm sure most teams probably have a psychiatrist or psychologist on their payroll staff. Probably.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing of doing kind of like a EAP, employee assistance program type thing with these players. I don't know what's written into the CBA about this, but if you have a gambling problem, you have a gambling problem about gambling. You don't have a gambling problem about betting on baseball if you're a baseball player. That's not what you have a problem with. You have a problem with gambling.
Yeah.
And if you come to the commissioner, if you come to your team and go, hey, in college I did a lot of illegal book stuff. I did a lot of betting. I lost a lot of money. I won a lot of money. I need help. The team's going to help you. Their first question is going to be, have you ever bet on the sport you're playing in? And your answer better be no.
Yeah. True.
If your answer is, I've considered it and I'm thinking about it, but that's the reason why I'm here, so I don't do it, that's okay. But if your answer is yes, it's going to be a big conversation.
Yeah, it's going to be a come to Jesus moment.
Because the game has to have integrity for the game, but also all these sports books that the league has partnered with also want the game to be.
Do you think the government should come in and hear me out? Do you think the government should come in and ban the individual sports prop bets? Because I'm hearing a lot of chatter that individual players are, to mention your analogy of the storming the bus for that girl, players are getting heckled because they didn't score 10 points when the line was 9.5.
It's the natural progression of fantasy football, fantasy baseball. How many fantasy football owners have like berated running backs for not performing for them on their team?
Yeah.
It's a little different now that there's money involved. I think in golf we see this as a bigger problem. I don't have a problem with prop bets in general. I think if you're addicted to prop bets, you're an idiot and a sucker because you're rolling those prop bets up as a parlay, and a parlay is just free money for the house.
Yeah.
There's money to be made, but it's a lottery ticket. It's not gambling. It's a lottery ticket.
Well, two things I think we can agree on, Bob. It's a problem that's not going to go away anytime soon.
Nope.
The other thing we can agree on is we will be back here next week providing, hopefully, good sports content.
And hopefully for the Dallas Mavericks, the series isn't over.
We'll see what happens, Bob. Until then,
peace out.
OH.